Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham and what we think will happen. And the man who put all of that together, the man who thought that was a good fit, the man who thought Jaden Ivey was a piece that needed to be added to this team, just got an extension. Troy Weaver has been inked to multiple more years with the Pistons. I'm not sure if the exact specifics are out yet about the deal, but Shams put it out there that Troy Weaver has been extended by the Detroit Pistons. And you look at what this guy has done, getting pieces like Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, Cade Cunningham, Livers, Ivey, Duren, making the trade for Bogdanovic, trying to build this roster and having to tear it down from what it was with Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose, and trying to issue this new era of Detroit basketball to the streets. It's awesome. I'm happy the guy got extended. He knows a hell of a lot more about basketball than me, Eazy, or anybody in the chat. That's for damn sure. And I'm happy for him to be out there. I'm happy for him to be making the decisions to be the head of this team and the head of this rebuild. Eazy, how do you feel about Troy Weaver getting that extension?
Yeah, I hope he's still here in the comment section, because I would love to open up the phone lines to have this conversation. But it might be our guy Jeffrey Hall that was with us at the event yesterday saying what up though, because he was dropping off the phone to Maz. Shout out to Jeff Hall. But how could you not be excited about this?
Mm-hmm. Well,
like, to me, what up?
I mean, there is a way to not be excited about it. I disagree with it, but let me just put it out there. It's the narrative that they haven't won. Their records since Troy Weaver has been GM: 20 wins, 23 wins, and on pace this year for 18. So that would be the one thing, is that, he got an extension before this team even got anywhere. All he's done is draft players and make trades. And I think it's a weak argument, but if you do want to make an argument, that's the argument to make.
All he's done is draft players and make trades.
Yeah.
Kind of like what a guy has to do when he's tearing a team down to the studs and then forcing a rebuild.
Especially a team that was in such dire needs of Detroit.
Everything.
It's crazy too, because guys, that's the only championship team that I've seen as a Detroit sports fan win a championship in my lifetime outside of the Red Wings. And at that time, I didn't really pay attention to hockey. My grandparents did, my aunts did, everybody else in my family did other than myself.
Blasphemy.
So I have like love for the Detroit Pistons, rooted in me deeper than almost even the Lions. And as much as I love the Detroit Lions and I love football more as a sport, it just, they don't win. You know what I'm saying? But I've got to experience that through the Detroit Pistons. I got to experience, I can't call it a dynasty, right? Only one championship out of it, but success. You know what I'm saying? So, I want that more than anything, and Troy Weaver, I believe, is the guy to bring something to that, because it came to a certain point with the owner now, Tom Gores. Mm-hmm. He was kind of happy with making the playoffs and getting extra money off of playoff tickets. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like everyone in the organization was kind of with that too. The Blake Griffin stuff, I was beyond irritated with it. Yeah. I'm not gonna I get at one point in his career when he was healthy, Blake Griffin was a very good basketball player. In Detroit, he wasn't that version of it. I mean, he was for a bit there.
He had a couple good years.
At the end of the day, those knees, they ain't holding up.
Yeah.
They holding up enough to be a franchise player to win championships with as the guy. Mm-hmm. I don't want to disrespect Blake too much, but it was dead, dude. It was dead. And he got rid of the contracts. He had to do what he had to do. He had to overcome that alone by itself. The buyout for Blake Griffin, I think we're still paying for it. Are we not, Chris?
The Blake Griffin buyout is done.
It's done. Thank the Lord. But no, he had to tear the whole thing down.
The Lord.
You had to tear the whole damn thing down, in which he did. And in the process of it, obviously you get a little bit of luck with the lottery and you land Cade Cunningham. But Killian Hayes, sure, you can poo-poo on that pick if you want to. But again, historically, if you go through the top 15 picks outside of the number 1 overall pick, you find some duds in there for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And in the Woodward Sports chat, DNC Entertainment says he got rid of the corpses of Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond and turned it into the youngest team in the league.
Dare I say Derrick Rose too?
And that's what I'm saying. Some people complain about fits with this Detroit Pistons team and how it's not a great fit and how they don't like the fit of these things. But the GMs before Troy Weaver built the fits of Andre Drummond, Greg Monroe, and Josh Smith. Great fit there. And Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, and Andre Drummond. Great fit. Let's get 3 guys who are overhyped, out of their prime, and we're making a first-round playoff run. I love Troy Weaver, man, and what he did, like you guys said, he had to tear apart this team, root and stem, and start over from the beginning. This guy, Troy Weaver, issued in or he's trying to issue in a new era of Detroit basketball, back when they were winning championships, back when they had elite guard play, back when they were playing physical, tough defense. And obviously it's not there yet because it takes some time when you're starting from the literal bottom. When even just last year, you had Trey Lyles starting games at center for you. You had Corey Joseph playing the second most minutes on your team. Like, this is something that is going to take some time, and Troy Weaver is doing it. He's accelerating it by getting pieces like a Bojan Bogdanovic, like an Alec Burks, to when, if they are ready to go, those are valuable pieces, veteran shooters you can have. If they're not ready to go, they think it needs some more time, they are hot commodities at the trade deadline. So he knows what he's doing. Troy Weaver is becoming the Steve Yzerman of the NBA, where if you pick up the phone and see it's Troy Weaver calling you, you're about to get fleeced. Look what they did, and they stole Jalen Duren, who is one of the top 6 rookies so far this year, and they got him at what was it, 12 or 13?
13.
And it's just amazing to me to see how this man has built this team, how he continues to build this team. He did get some luck, obviously, which Detroit teams don't, in winning that lottery, landing the number 1 overall pick, and getting a generational talent in Cade Cunningham. But what he's done to assemble different picks, turn kind of, pieces like Kelly Olynyk and Saban Lee into a Jalen Duren, into a Bojan Bogdanovic. It's just amazing to me.
That's it. Name the bad Troy Weaver move.
Yeah.
Name the bad signing.
The only one that some people try to point to is the Bruce Brown situation.
But
I don't even think he's a Killian Hayes, if you will.
Solid role player. Yeah.
He was.
You don't need solid role players when you're rebuilding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
110%.
Maybe you could have gotten more for him, but ultimately, not a bad trade. Wasn't on the same timeline. Ultimately, he hasn't made any bad moves. So what is there to complain about? Yes, I get it that the team hasn't won a lot, but again, you had to tear this thing down to the literal studs. It was so bad in the beginning, guys. Do you remember that Troy Weaver gave Jahlil Okafor a chance to play in the NBA?
Yeah.
That is how bad it was. He's giving Kevin Knox now a chance to play.
Chill on the go.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be the last on the Kevin Knox train. I just want you to know that.
Chill on the go, Kevin Knox.
No, yeah.
Kevin Knox is the greatest basketball player to ever put on a Pistons jersey.
It's opposite day for Smitty, clearly.
And it's facts. Kevin Knox is the GOAT. He's the guy from Fortnite.
We have a graphic in there, Chris, from last night's game. Exactly. Actually, if you want to pull that one up. This is why you love a Troy Weaver. All right, this is the 5th overall pick.
Also one of the sickest pictures ever.
I had to use this one.
Yeah.
I had to use this one.
I wish I could credit who this was, because whoever took that picture, incredible.
Because Jalen Duren was, the 13th pick? Or the 12th?
13th pick.
13th pick. So what that 13th pick originally was I believe, like a 2024 Milwaukee first-round pick that he got in exchange for Jeremy Grant. Like, he turned to the 13th pick to, the best big man in the draft, question mark? I mean, it's this so far, right?
Which... Another thing, looking back, though, you could kind of argue that on face value, for how good Jeremy Grant is playing in Portland, you could have gotten more. But the reason Troy took only that is because he had the New York deal in place.
He already had the bullet in the gun.
Get 10
steps ahead.
Exactly.
10 steps ahead.
Literally 10 steps ahead. Before any of that stuff went down.
Yeah, he knows what's going on.
Dude's nasty.
He knows
he's going to
fleece some of the best ownership, or the worst ownership and front office situations in the history of sport in the New York Knicks. James Dolan, you suck. I hate you. That's tale for a different time.
That's your side bait.
That's my side team. The
Kelly
Knicks are my
Olynyk
side
signing
piece.
was
bad.
You can't.
You can't even say that
he
was
put in a bad situation.
That brought you Bojan.
Yeah.
And if I may too, the reason why you love a Troy Weaver, this is Detroit, guys. Yeah, we may be a storied franchise, but you're not having free agents like, oh, I love the weather in Detroit. Oh, I love the Detroit market, all the money that's out there to make. No. You need the guy who draft like Troy Weaver to build your franchise up.
And this is something that Troy Weaver, I know, saw in Jalen Duren. Aaron S. in the Woodward Sports chat says, get Duren more touches on offense. Dude has a mid-range jumper. He has a lot of untapped offensive potential.
Yes.
And that I talked about it every time. His first minutes in a Pistons uniform in his first summer league game, what I was freaking out and going crazy about was a missed mid-range jumper. He hit a turnaround from 16 feet that just looked clean,
The cleanest
looked
miss.
fluid, and it just missed. I was like, oh my God. Like, this guy doesn't have a hiccup jump shot. He's not doing, like, it looked good. So it's the way Troy Weaver sees these guys, like getting guys late in drafts, like Livers and like Duren or like Stu and like Sadiq, like not highly touted, not top 10 picks. Once you get outside of like the top 10 in the NBA, you're looking at it's who knows more than other people, and Troy Weaver knows more than most. So it's awesome that the Pistons inked him to a longer deal. I'm very happy, and I hope he's the GM of the Detroit Pistons for a very long time.